When my son was born, I was like typical mama. I read a lot of books about babies, and we had a little tough time getting started with breastfeeding, but going to see a lactation consultant took care of all of that. And so about a month into having my son, I started reading a lot of books about sleep in particular. And I a lot of times just found like, hey, just watch for their sleepy cues, or it would say like, don't really worry about sleep until 3 months. And a lot of the books said the baby would start sleeping through the night at a couple months. And then I would go on the internet and I would say, oh, the baby will start sleeping through the night when he's 10 pounds. And so I kept like grabbing onto these promises of like, well, the baby will start sleeping through the night, any day now, basically. So we just kind of kept waiting for a while. And when we got to like 2 or 3 months, it really just kept picking at me. Like, it was really hard for me to keep waking up so often during the night. And I kept telling my midwife, and eventually at like 3 or 4 months old, she finally referred me to Myra. I'd never heard of a sleep coach before, but I went to her website and I read, and it sounded like she would know exactly what was going on. So I did a free consult with her, and talking to her on the phone, she picked up on some things right away for us. Pretty quickly, she got us on a pattern where he didn't need to cry anymore for his naps, and at night he was waking up a little bit more like on more of a rhythm. Like, it was a little bit more rhythmic and a little more predictable. But having a mom next to you, like on text message, to be able to help you along the way and tell you like, this is normal, this is okay, like, I know it's hard. That was one of the more valuable parts for me. It was just so incredibly wonderful to have someone there, like when I was just barely getting through the day, and then she would just say like, hey, this makes sense to me, like, and this is okay. And she would help keep me up and keep me going to that next day. And then along the way, not only did my son start sleeping better and eventually start taking naps on a better rhythm, but I started to sleep better. And not just sleeping better like before I had a baby, but sleeping better than I've ever slept in my life. Because when you start learning about your child's sleep rhythms, you start learning about them for yourself. Like, I think that all parents should have a sleep coach before they have children, and then they should definitely have a sleep coach to help them with their child. Sometimes I think we're just not educated enough, and working one-on-one with a sleep coach could be just the education you need, not just for sleep, but to learn how to pay attention to cues and to really hone in on your baby. And I'm somebody who teaches body awareness and studies body awareness, and yet I learned more in this last 6 months or so working with Myra as a sleep coach than I think I learned in days and books about the body. There's nothing like working through a problem one-on-one with somebody who's totally focused on you and there for you 100% to back you up.